There is a seismic shift happening. Libertarianism, not even conservatism, is sweeping the world. The fastest growing party in Europe is a libertarian, national sovereignty, borders, language, a la Michael Savage group. It's the fastest growing across Europe. So they arrest Marie Le Pen, the head of the National Front, who's about as hardcore as Ron Paul. I mean, not any race stuff, none of it. Because she said there's a radical Islamic invasion happening. We haven't faced a threat this bad since World War II. Absolutely. I mean, they've arrested her now, what is it, twice? She's the front runner in presidential polls. So they're arresting people every day in Canada that criticize radical Islam, and I have an article in front of me with video of an imam they brought in to Canada calling for jihad and for supporting ISIS. But if you criticize it, they arrest you. They've arrested me in Canada trying to fly up there to give a speech on the Bilderberg group and then became an international scene. After 15 hours, they had to let me go. I mean, this isn't freedom, folks. And it's coming here. And now you have Donald Trump, the 28 pages. I've had senators, congressmen on, Jones and Paul, Senator Paul, they've seen the 28 pages. It says Saudi Arabia ran the attacks. NORAD was ordered to stand down. The FBI was ordered to stand down. Well, we already knew that back at the time. FBI agents came out, but we have the 28 pages from the commission. It's game over. I'm going to cover that after our guest leaves us at the start of the next hour, but I want to play a few of those clips. And again, they're going to demonize him and say, how dare he not like our troops? He said, don't send them into a fraudulent war. He's talking about the 28 pages, and Trump says, elect me, and you'll find out who really knocked down the towers. Let's go to that first clip.
We're backing people, rebels. You know, they call them the rebels, the freedom rebels, they have all these glamorous names, right? Look at what happened to Libya. Look at what happened to Iraq with, look at what's going on. We've got the freedom. We give them billions of dollars of equipment, billions. If they win, they're worse than the guy that they took over from, right? That's what happens. Look at Libya. What a disaster with Gaddafi. We got rid of Gaddafi. What do we have in Libya? It is such a disaster. Look at Saddam Hussein. We just talked about it. What a disaster. But we have a guy who doesn't have a clue about the military, but he thinks that he does. With his thinking, remember this, we have been in there for 15 years, and we are far worse off now than we were 15 years ago. 15 years ago, we didn't have people coming around. I mean, the whole thing. And in all fairness, we went after Iraq. They did not knock down the World Trade Center, okay? It wasn't the Iraqis that knocked down the World Trade Center. We went after Iraq. We decimated the country. Iran's taken over. Okay. But it wasn't the Iraqis. You will find out who really knocked down the World Trade Center because they have papers in there that are very secret. You may find it's the Saudis, okay? But you will find out. But it wasn't Iraq.
Now, he leaves it vague. That's why he's such a genius. They'll come out and they're saying he's a liar. Right now, all over the news, there is no secret pages. And then people go, well, there are the 28 pages. And then he has a press conference with the families. Oh, I'm afraid that's being set up right now. I loved meeting with his shadow campaign head 3 months ago. We had some great discussions. I really like seeing him manifest right now. Trump likes my ideas. He already had the ideas. But you guys want to take on America? You think we're cowards? We're not. We're going to expose what you did with the Saudis. That's for the Clintons and the Bushes. You can go straight to hell. We're done with you. And folks, you want people to fight? This is an info war. You want a full brass knuckles, toe-to-toe, to the political death. This is it. We use the truth. They use lies.
Thanks. You doing well? Excellent. Good to see you.
Governor Bush.
How we doing? Good to see
All right,
you,
good.
man.
How you doing? I was wondering, would you be in favor of seeing the 28 pages that have been redacted from the 9/11 Commission report? Would you be wanting to see those released?
Yeah, I'd like to see them. You got them?
Well,
Andrea may have them.
Hopefully we can get them. Thank you. Would you be in favor of seeing the 28 pages that have been redacted from the 9/11 Commission report? Would you be wanting to see those released?
Yeah, I'd like to see them. You got them?
Well,
Andrea may have them.
Hopefully we can get them. Thank you.
For the few who have seen them, they're known as the 28 pages.
In those pages are names of people who allegedly helped the al-Qaeda killers, but who have never been held accountable.
Potential sources of foreign support for the September 11th hijackers, classified by the Bush administration.
Why the 28 pages remain hidden from the public remains a mystery.
We know the 28 pages from Senator Graham and Senator Jones that have seen it, and military we've had on that have seen it. It says Saudi Arabia ran the attacks to blame Iraq. That was always the plan. and then our own government bare minimum stood down. And of course it was more than that. But we have the fact that it now to a great extent was an inside job.
I have read the 28 pages, and the 28 pages have nothing to do with national security, nothing, or I wouldn't be standing here. It's all about relationships and involvement in 9/11.
I want those documents declassified. I'm embarrassed to be associated with a work product that is secret.
I am convinced that there was a direct line between at least some of the terrorists who carried out the September 11th attacks and the government of Saudi Arabia. He called it a smoking gun. And he went on to say the reason for this cover-up goes right up to the White House.
This is sort of shocking when you read it. As I read it, we all had our own experience. I had to stop every couple pages and just sort of absorb and try to rearrange my understanding of history for the past 13 years and the years leading up to that. It challenges you to rethink everything.
What do we know is in the 28 censored pages of the 9/11 report? People that have seen it said it would bring down the whole system.
I've met with and talked to multiple members of Congress who read it. They are convinced the American people needs to see it. It has to do with information which is not convenient to the White House, either White House, the Clinton White House or the Bush White House, and it has to do with an ally who essentially looked the other way and allowed a lot of support for the terrorists who conducted the attack.
We're here today to call for a release of those 28 pages. The survivors, civilian heroes, and families of the victims of September 11 terrorist attacks, some of whom are here today, deserve the full truth. We cannot let page after page of blanked out documents be obscured behind a veil, leaving these families to wonder if there is additional information surrounding these horrible acts.
My son, Matthew C. Salito, was murdered September 11th, 2001.
On September 11th, I lost my husband, Tom Strada.
My husband, Victor, was the captain of United Flight 175 that struck the South Tower of the World Trade Center on September 11th at 9:03 a.m.
My father never got to see me compete on my horse, cheer me on at a lacrosse game, or hear me speak at my middle school graduation.
When you tell me there's a security risk and that's the reason you're not making these public, Mr. President, I call you a liar.
He would be laughing and saying, "You go get him, Terry. You go get him. Don't let them get away with this. Don't let them hide the truth, and don't let the people that were behind it not pay."
Every nation in every region now has a decision to make. Either you are with us or you are with the terrorists.
Governor Bush.
How we doing? Good to
All
see
right,
you,
good.
man.
How you doing? I was wondering, would you be in favor of seeing the 28 pages that have been redacted from the 9/11 Commission report? Would you be wanting to see those released?
Yeah, I'd like to see them. You got them?
When I dream of my wedding day, I will carry his picture and wish he were there with me.
Yeah, I'd like to see them. You got them?
My son's dead, and I don't know all the facts.
Yeah, I'd like to see them. You got them?
Keeping it a secret about those who facilitated it must end now.
Well,
Andrea may have them.
Hopefully we can get them. Thank you.
Thousands of years ago, there was a basic form of chivalry. Our ancestors would hear the drums of war, giving the warriors of the tribe a chance to organize and prepare a defense. 60 years ago, when foreign air forces were approaching filled with bombs, they had drums of their own, air raid sirens. But in the 21st century, there are silent weapons for quiet war. Pathogens added to the food and water, and to the lining of plastics that destroy our vitality, turn off our hormones, and accelerate our journey towards death. I personally counter this onslaught with Anthroplex. Anthroplex is designed with known organic concentrated herbs to create the basic foundation to normal metabolic activity inside the human body. Discover why Anthroplex is turning so many heads today. It's time for us to take our bodies back into our own hands, and it starts at InfoWarsLife.com with Anthroplex.